Hello, nighttime traveler. This is Linus, your dreamweaver from Magical Nights. Snuggle up in your blanket and let your imagination run wild as we venture into the enchanted paths of magical and fantastic tales. Tonight, our stories unfold among the enchanted forests of ancient Ireland, where Siobhan, a young healer, embarks on a mission to save the Druid's garden. Facing deadly traps, magical creatures, and an epic battle against the powerful goddess Morgan, Siobhan will discover her true power and courage. Joined by Celtic warriors and guided by ancient spirits, her journey is filled with challenges and revelations. Ready to dream? Among the green hills of ancient Ireland, where the wind whispers ancestral secrets and the streams murmur forgotten songs, there was a place known only to the wisest druids. The Druid's Garden, hidden deep within a mystical forest, was a sanctuary of ancient magic and ancestral wisdom. Gigantic trees, with dense canopies and intertwined roots, created an atmosphere of mystery and fascination. Rare plants bloomed under the soft light filtering through the leaves, and crystals shone like stars in the fertile earth. Here, every stone and every flower had a story to tell, and the air was charged with a palpable magical energy. This garden was protected by a circle of ancient stones, arranged to channel the energy of the earth and sky. Each stone had mysterious carvings, inscriptions in a forgotten language that only the oldest druids could read. It was said that these stones were portals to other worlds and that the garden was a convergence point between the mortal world and the fairy realm. On full moon nights, the druids gathered in the center of the garden to perform sacred rituals. Dressed in white robes and adorned with oak leaves, they invoked the spirits of nature and celebrated the harmony between man and earth. The chants echoed among the trees, creating a melody that seemed to resonate to the heart of the forest. The Druid's Garden was a place of learning and healing. Here, medicinal plants grew abundantly, and the Druids harvested their leaves and roots to prepare powerful potions. It was believed that the water from the streams that ran through the garden had healing properties, capable of curing the gravest illnesses and rejuvenating the weariest spirits. In a clearing at the heart of the garden stood an ancient oak tree, known as the Tree of Wisdom. It was said that those who could communicate with the spirit of the tree would gain deep knowledge about the mysteries of life and death. Many tried, but few were chosen to receive the gift of wisdom. In the shadows of the forest, magical creatures watched silently. Light fairies peeked through the leaves, while earth spirits emerged from the ground to join the rituals. The Druid's Garden was a place where the veil between worlds was thin, and magic was always present, waiting to be discovered. Siobhan, a young healer from a nearby village, was known for her ability to treat illnesses with herbs and potions she learned from her grandmother, a respected wise woman. Siobhan had long, fiery red hair and green eyes that reflected the serenity of the Irish forests. Since childhood, she felt a deep connection to nature, listening to the whispers of plants and animals. She lived with her younger brother, Cian, a brave and curious boy, always willing to help his sister with her harvests and studies. Cian had an adventurous spirit, often exploring the forests and hills around the village. The siblings shared a strong bond, united by their love for nature and their family's legacy. Siobhan's grandmother, Eileen, was a renowned healer known for her skills and deep knowledge of ancient arts. Eileen taught Siobhan from a very young age, passing down secrets about plants and potions, and stories about the Druids and their magic. Eileen was a figure of wisdom and respect in the community, and her death a few years earlier left a deep void in Siobhan's heart. In addition to her knowledge as a healer, Siobhan had a special gift, the ability to sense the energy of plants and living beings. She could tell when a plant was sad or when an animal was in pain, using this gift to choose the most potent herbs and prepare the most effective remedies. This gift, however, was also a burden, as it connected her deeply with the suffering around her. Siobhan dreamed of one day uncovering the secrets of the Druid's Garden, a mystical place her grandmother mentioned in many stories. It was believed that those who mastered the garden's secrets could achieve unimaginable levels of healing and wisdom. This dream, however, seemed distant and unreachable for a simple village healer. Kian, on the other hand, was more interested in the adventures that might lead them to the garden. He believed that with courage and determination, they could find the way and reveal the mysteries their grandmother had only hinted at. Together, the siblings formed a balanced team, combining Siobhan's wisdom and sensitivity with Kian's courage and curiosity. One day, an elder druid named Angus arrived at the village seeking help. He brought news of a mysterious disease attacking the sacred forest, threatening to destroy the druid's garden and everything it represented. Angus, with his wise eyes and time-worn face, explained that only someone with a special gift could save the garden and the secrets it held. Siobhan felt a shiver run down her spine. She knew this moment was the beginning of something big, something that could change her life and the lives of everyone around her. With Kian's support and Angus' guidance, Siobhan was about to embark on a journey that would reveal her true powers and test her courage in ways she could never have imagined. The morning after Angus arrived, Siobhan prepared for the journey that would change her life. With her heart pounding and her mind filled with doubts and hopes, she packed her herbs and potions into a leather bag, while Kian prepared supplies and tools for the trip. Angus, with his imposing figure and serene presence, waited for them at the village entrance, ready to guide them to the druid's garden. Angus explained that the path to the garden was not easy. They would need to traverse dense forests, cross rivers, and climb steep hills. Additionally, the forest was filled with hidden dangers and magical creatures that could be both friends and foes. Siobhan knew the journey would be arduous, but she was determined to move forward. As they walked, Angus told stories about the ancient druids and their incredible abilities. He spoke of the harmony between man and nature and how the druids were the guardians of this balance. Each story increased Siobhan's fascination and strengthened her determination to learn more and protect the garden. With each step, the landscape around them became more mystical. Centuries-old trees with wide, twisted trunks formed a canopy overhead, while sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating dancing patterns on the forest floor. The sound of birds and the murmuring of streams created a natural symphony that accompanied their journey. At one point, Angus abruptly stopped and raised his hand, signaling silence. He pointed to a clearing ahead, where a family of deer grazed peacefully. "Nature is always in balance," he whispered. "We must learn to observe and respect this balance if we want to protect the garden." Siobhan and Kian watched the deer for a moment, feeling the peace and harmony of the place. Then, carefully, they followed Angus into the clearing, avoiding disturbing the animals. Every step was a lesson, every sight an inspiration. As they progressed, Siobhan began to notice subtle changes around her. The plants seemed more vibrant, and she could feel an increasing energy in the ground beneath her feet. It was as if the very soil was alive and whispering ancient secrets. Kian, with his natural curiosity, constantly asked Angus questions, absorbing every piece of wisdom the elder shared. By the end of the day, they set up camp near a crystal-clear river. While Kian tended to the fire, Siobhan approached the water and placed her hands in the cold stream, feeling its fluid and purifying energy. Angus sat beside her and spoke about the importance of water in druidic magic, explaining how it was used for cleansing and rebirth. That night, under the starry sky, Siobhan reflected on the journey they had begun. She knew the path would be full of challenges, but also of wonderful discoveries. She was ready to face whatever came, determined to protect the druid's garden and learn the secrets it held. And so, with a heart full of hope and courage, Siobhan fell asleep, lulled by the sounds of the forest and the gentle glow of the stars. On the second day of the journey, Siobhan, Kian, and Angus faced their first major challenges. The forest grew denser, and the terrain more rugged. The trees seemed to close in around them, forming a maze of roots and branches. It was easy to get lost, but Angus, with his wisdom and experience, guided them confidently. The first obstacle came when they reached a deep ravine, cut by a turbulent river. The only way across was an old rope bridge that swayed dangerously in the wind. Cian, always fearless, was the first to cross, followed by Siobhan and Angus. With each step, the bridge creaked and swayed, testing their courage and balance. Midway through the crossing, a strong wind blew, causing the bridge to sway violently. Siobhan clung to the ropes with all her might, feeling her heart race. Cian, already on the other side, shouted words of encouragement, while Angus, right behind her, remained calm and reassured her. Determined, she made it across, feeling immense relief upon touching solid ground again. But the challenges didn't stop there. As they delved deeper into the forest, they encountered an area dominated by poisonous and thorny plants. Angus taught Siobhan how to identify the safe plants and avoid those that could cause harm. With care and patience, they advanced, using machetes to cut a path through the dense vegetation. At one point, Cian stepped on a branch hidden under the leaves, triggering an ancient trap. A net rose from the ground, ensnaring him and lifting him into the air. Siobhan ran to help him, but the net was tightly woven. Angus, with his experience, quickly disarmed the trap, freeing Cian. It was a clear reminder that the forest was full of unexpected dangers. Later, while resting in a clearing, they were attacked by a flock of black crows, birds associated with omens and dark magic. The crows swooped low, pecking and scratching, trying to drive them away. Angus raised his staff and murmured ancient words, creating a protective barrier around them. The crows retreated, cawing in frustration, before disappearing into the forest's darkness. Exhausted but resolute, the group continued their journey. Each challenge overcome strengthened their determination and brought them closer together. Siobhan felt her connection to nature deepen with each step, and Cian, despite the scares, maintained his indomitable spirit. As night fell, they found a safe spot to camp. While Cian tended to the fire, Angus taught Siobhan how to create a protective circle using stones and herbs to keep them safe during the night. Around the fire, they shared stories and reflections about the day, renewing their strength for the challenges yet to come. Siobhan looked up at the stars, feeling grateful for having Angus as a guide and Cian as a companion. She knew the journey was just beginning, and many obstacles still lay ahead. But she was ready to face them, determined to protect the Druid's garden and uncover its secrets. And so, with a heart full of hope and courage, Siobhan fell asleep, lulled by the sounds of the forest and the gentle glow of the stars. The third day brought an atmosphere of mystery and wonder. As Siobhan, Cian, and Angus advanced through the forest, the vegetation began to transform. The trees grew taller and more majestic, and vibrant flowers appeared along the path. It was as if they had entered a different world where magic was tangible in the air. The first magical creature they encountered was a puka, a nature spirit known for its shape-shifting abilities. It appeared as a beautiful black horse with eyes that shone like stars. The puka watched the group with curiosity, and Angus warned them not to get too close, as these spirits were known for their mischief. Further along, the group found a fairy ring. Small luminous figures danced in a ring of mushrooms, emitting melodious laughter and twinkling lights. Siobhan, enchanted, watched the fairies with reverence. Angus explained that fairy rings were portals to the fairy world and should be treated with respect. The fairies, noticing their presence, waved cheerfully before disappearing in a blink. At dusk, while setting up camp near a crystal-clear lake, they were visited by a banshee. This spectral figure, dressed in white garments with long silver hair, emerged from the shadows with a sad, melancholic song. Angus explained that the banshee was a harbinger of death, but also a guardian of ancient secrets. She watched Siobhan intently, as if seeing something special in her, before fading into the mist. During the night, Angus decided to share an ancient ritual with Siobhan to communicate with nature spirits. They sat by the lake, surrounded by crystals that glowed under the moonlight. Angus taught Siobhan to chant ancient songs, and soon a powerful energy began to form around them. Water spirits emerged from the lake, ethereal creatures dancing on the water's surface, emitting a bluish light. Siobhan felt a deep connection with these spirits. They whispered secrets about the forest and the druid's garden. One spirit, a female figure made of water and light, spoke directly to Siobhan, saying she had an important role in protecting the garden. The young healer felt a mix of fear and excitement, aware of the responsibility she bore. Kian, watching closely, felt a renewed respect for his sister. He had always known Siobhan was special, but seeing her interaction with the spirits reinforced his determination to protect and support her mission. Angus, in turn, felt proud to have found someone so talented and dedicated. The next morning, after a night of intense and revealing dreams, the group prepared to continue their journey. Siobhan felt more connected to the forest than ever, able to perceive subtle changes in the energy around her. Kian was alert and attentive, ready to face any challenge. They set off, knowing that each step brought them closer to the druid's garden. The magical experiences they had so far were just the beginning. The path ahead promised even more wonders and mysteries, and Siobhan was determined to uncover all the secrets the garden held. On the fourth day of the journey, the group reached a region of the forest known as the Clearing of Challenges. Angus explained that this was a sacred place where ancient druids tested their apprentices' courage and determination. Siobhan felt a shiver of apprehension, knowing her courage would be tested in ways she couldn't yet imagine. As they entered the clearing, they were greeted by an impressive sight, a huge stone, carved with ancient symbols and surrounded by a golden light. Angus explained that this was the altar of courage, and that Siobhan must touch the stone and face the challenge it would present. With her heart pounding, Siobhan approached the altar and placed her hand on the cold stone. Immediately, the clearing disappeared around her, and Siobhan found herself in a dark cave. A deep, powerful voice echoed through the cave walls, challenging her to face her greatest fears. The young healer felt a wave of panic, but remembered Angus' words about the importance of courage and faith in herself. The first vision that appeared was of her grandmother, Eileen, lying on her deathbed. Siobhan felt the pain of loss again, but also the comforting presence of her grandmother's spirit. Eileen smiled at her, encouraging her to move forward. Siobhan understood that courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to face and overcome it. Next, the cave transformed into a burning forest. Siobhan saw Kian trapped among the burning branches, crying out for help. Without hesitation, she ran to save him, facing the heat and suffocating smoke. As she reached her brother, she realized the flames were illusions, tests of her determination and fraternal love. Kian disappeared, and the forest returned to normal. The final test was the hardest. Siobhan found herself before a magical mirror reflecting her insecurities and doubts. She saw a distorted version of herself, full of fear and hesitation. The voice in the cave challenged her to accept her weaknesses and find strength within them. With effort, Siobhan faced her image in the mirror and, slowly, accepted her imperfections, understanding they were part of her journey and growth. When she finally emerged from the cave, Siobhan was exhausted but felt stronger and more confident. The clearing reappeared around her, and Angus and Kian waited with expressions of pride and relief. Siobhan had overcome the altar of courage, proving her worth and determination. Angus then revealed an important truth: the challenges Siobhan had faced were just the beginning of her journey to master the secrets of the Druid's Garden. There was still much to learn and discover, and the courage she had shown would be essential in the coming steps. With a renewed sense of purpose, Siobhan, Kian, and Angus continued their journey. Each challenge overcome strengthened their bonds and determination. Siobhan knew that no matter what lay ahead, she had the courage and strength to face any adversity. The fifth day brought an unexpected turn. While advancing through the forest, Siobhan, Cian, and Angus encountered a group of Celtic warriors led by an imposing woman named Maeve. She had hair as black as night and piercing blue eyes, dressed in leather armor and wielding a gleaming sword. Maeve was searching for answers about the changes in the forest and the growing dangers threatening her people. Initially, there was distrust between the two groups. Maeve questioned Angus and his companions' intentions, fearing they were responsible for the forest disturbances. Angus, with his serene demeanor, explained the situation and the mission to protect the Druid's garden. Maeve, intrigued but still cautious, decided to accompany the group and see for herself. During the journey, Maeve and Siobhan began to form a friendship based on mutual respect. Maeve admired Siobhan's courage and determination, while the young healer saw in Maeve a strong and just leader. The two women exchanged stories and knowledge, learning from each other. The first test of their alliance came when the group was attacked by a band of Fomorians, monstrous creatures from Celtic legends. With their grotesque forms and brute strength, the Fomorians posed a deadly threat. Maeve and her warriors fought bravely alongside Siobhan, Cian, and Angus, using their skills and strategies to repel the enemies. During the battle, Siobhan noticed one of the Fomorians wearing a strange amulet that emanated a dark energy. Instinctively, she chanted a spell learned from her grandmother, focusing her energy to break the curse surrounding the amulet. The Fomorian let out a cry of pain and disintegrated, releasing a bright light that purified the area around them. With the Fomorians defeated, Maeve and her warriors thanked Siobhan for her help. The Celtic leader recognized the value of having such powerful allies and offered her continued support in the mission to protect the Druid's garden. Angus accepted the offer with gratitude, aware that Maeve's strength and courage would be invaluable in the challenges ahead. From that moment on, the two groups joined forces, forming a solid alliance based on trust and respect. Maeve shared her knowledge of the forest's geography and dangers, while Angus taught her and her warriors about druidic magic and how to recognize signs of danger. With the alliance established, the group continued their journey with renewed vigor. Each step brought them closer to the Druid's garden, and Siobhan felt she was approaching her destiny. Maeve and her warriors' presence offered a sense of security and strength, while Angus' magic and Cian's determination perfectly complemented the team. As they advanced, they began to find clearer signs of the garden's magical influence. Rare plants and glowing flowers appeared along the path, and the energy around them became more intense. Siobhan felt the magic pulsing beneath her feet, like a call drawing her to the heart of the garden. The journey was far from over, and many challenges still awaited them. But with Siobhan's courage, Maeve's strength, Angus' wisdom, and Cian's indomitable spirit, they were ready to face anything. And so, with hearts full of hope and determination, they moved forward, ready to protect the Druid's garden's secrets and ensure its magic remained intact for future generations. On the sixth day, the group reached the entrance to the Druid's garden, a hidden passage between two massive moss-covered stones. The energy around was palpable, and Siobhan could feel the magic vibrating in the air. Angus explained that they were about to face the greatest challenge of all, protecting the garden from a dark force threatening to destroy its balance. As they advanced through the garden, the environment transformed into a paradise of beauty and mystery. Majestic trees with shimmering leaves, flowers that emitted their own light, and crystals pulsing with magical energy surrounded the group. At the garden center, a wide clearing housed a stone altar where ancient druids performed their sacred rituals. But they were not alone. A dark figure emerged from the shadows, a tall woman with red eyes and a menacing presence. It was Morrigan, the goddess of war and death, who wished to corrupt the garden and use its magic for her own purposes. Her voice echoed through the clearing, challenging Siobhan and her allies to face her power. The ensuing battle was intense and fierce. Maeve and her warriors fought bravely against the dark creatures summoned by Morrigan, while Angus used his magic to protect the garden. Cian, with his indomitable courage, faced the enemies with determination, defending Siobhan at every step. Siobhan knew that her true battle was against Morgan. With a heart full of courage and her grandmother's words echoing in her mind, she approached the stone altar. Morgan attacked with dark magic, but Siobhan responded with the power of nature, invoking the strength of the plants and forest spirits. At the battle's climax, Morgan unleashed a devastating attack, a wave of dark energy threatening to consume everything around her. Siobhan, with unwavering determination, raised her hands and channeled all the garden's energy, creating a barrier of light that repelled Morgan's attack. In a moment of revelation, Siobhan realized she was not alone. The spirits of the ancient druids were with her, guiding and strengthening her magic. With a cry of determination, she cast a powerful spell, a combination of everything she had learned on her journey. Light exploded from the altar, enveloping Morgan and purifying the dark energy. Morgan screamed in fury before disappearing in an explosion of shadows. The clearing fell silent, the battle finally over. Siobhan fell to her knees, exhausted but victorious. Maeve, Kian, and Angus approached, expressing their pride and gratitude. With Morgan defeated, peace was restored to the Druid's garden. Angus explained that Siobhan had proven herself worthy of protecting the garden's secrets and that she was now the guardian of the place. Siobhan, with tears of joy in her eyes, accepted the responsibility, knowing that her journey was just beginning. The group remained in the garden for a few days, recovering from the battle and celebrating their victory. Siobhan used her time to learn more about the garden's magic, guided by the spirits of the ancient druids. Maeve and her warriors helped strengthen the place's defenses, ensuring that peace would last. Finally, it was time to return to the village. Siobhan, Kian, Angus, and Maeve began the journey back, carrying with them the experiences and lessons learned in the Druid's garden. Each of them had changed in some way, stronger and wiser than before. Upon reaching the village, they were greeted with joy and celebration. The villagers, aware of their mission's importance, were eager to hear their stories and learn about the magic they protected. Siobhan was received as a heroine, and her new role as the garden's guardian brought new responsibility and purpose to her life. Siobhan dedicated herself to sharing her knowledge with the community, teaching children about the importance of nature and the magic of plants. With Angus' support and Kian's help, she created a small sanctuary in the village where people could learn and connect with nature. Maeve and her warriors also became part of the community, bringing their skills and protection. The alliance between the village and the Celtic warriors strengthened the region, ensuring that peace and harmony prevailed. Siobhan, now a figure of wisdom and leadership, reflected on her journey and the trials she had faced. She knew there was much more to learn and that her connection to the Druid's garden was just the beginning of a life dedicated to protection and knowledge. On a quiet night, sitting beside Kian under the starry sky, Siobhan felt a deep peace. She knew that with courage, determination, and the help of her allies, she could face any challenge. And so, with a heart full of hope and gratitude, she looked at the stars, ready for the future and all the wonders it would bring. Good night and enchanted dreams.